name's Kim Davies and I'm currently the Scientific Coordinator for BASIS, which is the British Autism Study of Infant Siblings based at Birkbeck University London. I was drawn to psychology because, I should say that I used to be a lawyer and I had done a molecular biology undergraduate degree, but the reason I was drawn to psychology was because I had two children and my youngest son, I found out, had autism. So I found myself reading all about autism, reading a lot about psychology generally and general development, got very interested and thought this is just ridiculous. I should actually be studying this and I could be actually working in this field, and that's how I retrained in psychology. I went to the University of Westminster and studied the foundation pathway for psychology and then did the course after that. And it was while I was doing that actually that I signed up to do some volunteer work at the Autism Research Centre in Cambridge. You probably know, if you know anything about autism, you know about Professor Simon Baron-Cohen. So I went and did some voluntary work in his lab. So I was just doing literally 1 day a week, but gaining some great experience. One of his postdocs came and gave a talk at the University of Westminster. He'd actually done his retraining there as well. He was a speech therapist who had retrained in psychology, and he gave a talk and just sort of spoke about what he did and was asking if anyone wanted to come and do some work experience. So I jumped at the chance. And
brilliant, yeah, I bet, yeah. Yeah. What was it like? What kind of projects were you involved with him?
So I was involved in a very specific project which is called the Q-Chat study. The Q-Chat is like a sort of early screening questionnaire that parents fill in about their toddlers, looking for sort of red flags of autism. And they were doing a sort of community sample, so they were looking at all children born in the sort of Cambridge, Luton, Bedfordshire area. And they were using this questionnaire to screen and then carrying out all the sort of autism or clinical assessments as well, and sort of following these kids through and seeing which ones did actually go on to get a diagnosis of autism and whether the screening tool had picked them out or not. After that, I knew about the BASIS project, I knew about the Baby SIBS project, and it was kind of, well, partly because it was based in London and I live in London, it was hugely attractive, but also in my view, I felt that was where the future of autism research lay, to be able to look at these children from birth and look for the earliest signs, and having had a son with autism and known how important helping him, supporting him with interventions was, the idea that we could have caught it earlier and helped him even earlier was very attractive. So that's, for me, it was the most important autism research going on in the country, possibly the world, and very lucky because Birkbeck's leading in terms of all the different techniques that we use with these children. There are other labs around North America and other areas, in Australia for example, but no one's doing quite as much, throwing quite as much at it as we are. My main advice to any student that wants to get involved in this type of work, get as much experience as you can. I know it's hard, voluntary work, but it's just invaluable. That's what we look at. I've sat on lots of interview panels now for research assistants and all sorts of jobs, and it's the experience that really counts. Grades are important too, but actually it's whether you've had experience working with babies, working with children, working with groups that have a disability. All of that really counts a lot. And if you are, while you're doing your voluntary work experience, if you can get trained up in things, anything, do it. Take that opportunity, because it's just something to add to your CV. If anyone out there is interested in actually getting involved in the work we do take on work experience. Always happy to hear from people. To be honest, the people we're most interested in are the people that can, even if they can only give us 1 day a week, if they can stay around for a while, so like a whole academic year or more, even better, just gives them more opportunity to get trained up in stuff and become not only gain that experience themselves, but become more useful to us as well. So we're always looking for young and old, anyone who's wants to get involved, they can get in touch with us. We have someone specifically with the role of sort of assigning work experience people to certain jobs. So yeah, get in touch. I really enjoy where I am at the moment. I guess I'm kind of a bit odd in terms of how this has all come about for me. Having done a degree in something completely different and actually been qualified as a lawyer and retraining in psychology, it's quite a broad range, and I've got a family, and actually what I do now fits in very well with that too, which I think is quite important for a lot of women out there to know that it can be quite flexible. Obviously testing isn't that flexible, but other things are. I'm enjoying sort of running the network, and it's going to get bigger and bigger, so I imagine my role is just going to get bigger